You can catch our next guest every night on CNN. He is a news anchor, a truth teller, and the author of the new book, This is the Fire. What I say to my friends about racism. Don't we need this right now? Please welcome our friend Don Lemon. Come on in here. Look
Hi,
at me.
everyone. Oh my God, you
What's
guys are
up?
so beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
I wish I was on set with you right now.
I
We
know.
wish you were
Welcome
too.
back. It's great to have you with us all the time. We got a lot to talk about, my friend.
We should
Hi,
do.
Lonnie.
Dawn, I am
didn't
such
text
a
me
big
back.
fan.
I'm not
I
saying
can't even
nothing.
tell you.
So-
Okay, so we're gonna just jump into it. I'm a huge fan of yours, so I'm excited. The news media was really under attack the last 5 years or so. Now, do you see change with the new administration?
Change in what way? You mean with the news media, or that the fact that
Yeah.
our institution of journalism that is protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution is not under constant threat every day? Yes, I do. Hey, I do see a change. It is. I am so happy to be back to a place where, kind of boring, quite honestly, normal. I don't need to hear
Yeah.
from my president every single second tweeting or telling me what he's having for lunch or who he hates or how bad I am or how dumb I am or, how the media is fake. So I think it's obviously changed for the better. You guys are in the media, it's a whole different world out there.
Absolutely. Just like you mentioned, looking back on just how the media handled Trump when he first began his campaign, how do you think the news should responsibly cover current instigators like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others like her?
Well, here's what I believe, and I know if you watch, and I know that Lonnie watches because she texts me, "Oh, great job," or "I saw that." I don't believe in giving false equivalents to liars or haters or people who want to misinform or racists or bigots or sexists or what have you. I don't believe if you have someone on who's speaking the truth, I'm just saying who happens to be a Democrat, that I have to have a Republican on who is spewing lies. So I think what we have to be very careful about who we give our platform to. So to come on The Real, right, on this show is a privilege. It's not a right, right? And to come on CNN, to be on my show, it is a privilege. It's not a right. So if you have the privilege of being able to speak directly to the American people, then you owe them the truth. You should be upfront with them and straight with them and honor that privilege. So I think we have to be careful about who we give our platform to, because then all of a sudden you get insurrectionists and neo-Nazis and what have you. You give them a platform, and I don't believe in that. I think that we have to protect our institution of journalism.
I agree.
Absolutely. Right, and we've had such a tumultuous year, Don, as you know, especially when you reflect on what has happened from the summer protest to now the Chauvin verdict last week. You report the news every night, so have you sensed like a change in the air?
You mean a change in the air from, from
Black Lives
reporting
Matter.
on, with Black Lives Matter? I sense a change in the air. I sense that I think that people want this country to move in the right direction. They want police reform. They want criminal justice reform. They want equity and equality. So I sense that most people in this country do. But what I'm concerned about is after the killing of George Floyd, for Black Lives Matter and those issues, there was a higher percentage of people who wanted those issues to take place, and they wanted them to take place in due time, like quickly. Now, the longer we get past that, people don't have I don't see the momentum for people moving in that
Same
direction. The
urgency,
polling
yeah.
shows that as time goes on, people become complacent about it. I don't want people to become complacent about it, which is one reason I wrote the book, is because I want to keep it top of mind, not only in what I do every night for my profession, but also I want people to be able to read it. I have a podcast. I want people to be able to hear it. I appear on talk shows like this because I want other platforms for people to be able to hear it and understand and keep this reform top of mind. So I think it's moving in the right direction, but I'm concerned that the further we get away from the summer of unrest of 2020, which really got people's hearts seeing that video, the further we get away, I'm concerned that people will become more complacent, and we cannot let that happen.
No.
I hear that.
Yeah, that's very true, Don. And are you ever surprised when a major news event doesn't become a turning point? Like when a mass school shooting doesn't lead to then immediate gun control laws, or when Trump's Access Hollywood tape didn't derail his campaign. Like when the math ain't mathing. What do you think about that?
Well, that's the whole thing I said about, misinformation, because the whole, Trump Access Hollywood tape, it was, that was just locker room talk and people believed that, right? Or it wasn't so bad, or he wasn't talking about someone
Right.
specifically. And then you have one person in that video becoming president and the other person losing their job.
Yes!
Where's the equality in that?
Mind blown.
In that whole
How?
thing. How did that happen? One person who didn't really say anything loses a job, and the person who said the whole thing becomes the leader of the free world. So becomes president. So that's why I say we've got to be careful about who we give our platform to and not giving it to misinformation. Am I surprised? I have to tell you, quite frankly, nothing surprises me anymore, but I am very disappointed. Because the polling shows that most people in this country want sensible gun laws, because you mentioned a mass shooting. They want sensible gun legislation and laws. But people are beholden to the NRA and to gun rights advocates. And so I think that, again, we as citizens, as we made our voices heard in November of 2020 by taking this country back in the right direction, we're going to have to make our voices heard the same way when it comes to legislation. And quite frankly, when it doesn't become a big event, when something happens, that's on the public. Because as you know, the ratings, we put it on TV and people show us what they're interested in, and if they're not interested in it, they don't act, they're not passionate about it, they don't watch. So it's incumbent upon citizens to really make the difference. We can put it on television, but unless people react to it and they want change, nothing is going to happen.
Right.
Don, is it hard for you to remain unbiased when some of the things you report on can feel so personal? I know it's hard for us because we talk about so many things and it can get personal. I get emotional. How is it hard for you to remain unbiased?
No, and I think that is that's a Jedi mind trick, because we all come to this, we all come from different backgrounds and we see the life through different lenses. And it doesn't mean because we have lived experiences with a certain thing, maybe with being a people of color in America, or maybe it is being a woman and what have you. That doesn't mean that you're biased. To me, what it means is that you can offer special or better insight on that particular subject. So I don't worry about the whole thing about I have to be non-biased. Yeah, I have to be objective.
Right.
But do I have to, that whole, sort of catchphrase about your bias or whatever? No, that's what diversity is all about. I, as a Black man, have a certain experience in this country, which I think is legitimate to be able to share to the American people, just as legitimate as it is for a Sean Hannity or a Tucker Carlson or anybody on any other network to be able to give their point of view. I can give my point of view as a Black man in America who happens to be gay. There's not bias about that. That's the truth. I'm a Black American. I can share my truth just like anybody else. So take that to the bank.
Bravo! You better
Shalimar
preach
would
on
say.
daytime television, Don.